everybody, how's it going? This is Darrin with GuitarControl.com bringing you this video lesson. Today I want to show you some beginner strumming patterns. So what I'm going to do is just go over some basic fundamentals and stuff for strumming and some universal patterns that are used in a lot of songs and can also be used in lieu of other strumming patterns that are maybe more complicated, more advanced than you're ready to do at this time. So be sure to click on the link down below so you can get the tabs and you'll be able to follow along. Alright, so the first pattern that I want to go over, I just call this the Universal Strum because it really, you can do this for just about any song you can think of. Even if it's not the right strum, you can still kind of get your way through it by using this pattern. So the pattern, it takes up an entire measure. So actually one thing I guess maybe we should look at before we do this is we should look at some counting fundamentals. So we have, if you've got your metronome going, and it's a steady, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're like tapping your foot, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you're strumming off of that, you could do simple, just quarter note strums. So, you're just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. But that's not very exciting. But if you're really just starting out, that's a good way to do it, just to kind of get your way through. You can work on, your chord transitions. So another one would be to do, so that's quarter notes where the strum is on each beat. But then you've got the space between the beats, which they call the upbeat or the offbeat. So if you've got your metronome going, so it's 1 and 2 and. So you say and in between. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that might be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So as a general rule, the quarter notes are going to be on the downstroke and the eighth notes are going to be on the upstroke. But that's not 100% of the time. So for this universal strum, we're going to start off and we're going to do the first strum is a down and it's going to be a half note, so it actually gets 2 beats. So you got 1, 2, and then on 3 you do another downstroke. So it's 1, 2, 3, or excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4 and. So you do a half note, 1, 2, and then a quarter note, 3, and then 2 eighth notes, 4 and that upstroke on the and is where you change chords. So if you're 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and. So as soon as you're ready to do that downstroke after the upstroke on the and of 4, it's on the downbeat of 1, and that's where you'd be changing chords. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and. Okay, so that is, like I said, a very, very useful, simple strum that you can, you can play a lot of songs right out of the gate with this. So another strumming pattern that's a pretty universal one. So this one is a little bit more complicated. We're going to do 1, and then we let that ring out for the downbeat of 2. 1, 2, and then on the and of 2 we do an upstroke. 1, 2, and 4 and. So that upstroke that we do here, 1, 2, and, we're doing that upstroke on the and of 2, but it's a quarter note, so it's actually taking the downbeat of 3, and then on the and of 3 we do and, 4, and. So 1, 2, and 3, 4 and. Down, down, up, down, up. And then on the next down, could be where a chord change was if it's just a, a whole measure. So you go 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 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 so that strumming pattern is pretty common too. I mean, like there's lots of songs that have that in there. So it's just a way that you can kind of just step up from you're starting out. You're just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to change it to 1, 2, 3, 4 and or 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. Okay, so one other thing I want to talk about a little bit is about the strumming technique itself. So I see a lot of people and they're strumming and it's all, their arm is very rigid and all the movement comes from their elbow. So, it's much simpler and easier to be articulate if you do it more with your wrist. So, with your guitar pick, you want to be holding it so the point of the pick is coming off. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see this, but there we go. So it's coming off of the side of your thumb at a 90-degree angle, the pointy part of the pick. And you want just enough of it protruding that when you strum, that you don't, the flesh on your hand doesn't actually hit the strings, but you want to be very close. And then I take just this part of my arm right here and rest it right on the, like on this electric, it's got this little bit of a bevel right there that I can rest it on. If you're playing an acoustic, it's usually like about the crook of your arm will sit on the back bout. Then you want your arm here, you want it to be straight, so you're just past the first string. And then reach up with your wrist. So when I'm strumming, there's still a little bit of movement in my elbow, but the majority of it is in my wrist, rather than just might take a little bit of getting used to, but it's much easier in the long run, and it just sounds smoother, and you won't get nearly as fatigued because you're not moving your whole arm. It's just try to be the laziest guitar player you can with the least amount of effort. Yeah, you just don't want there to be you don't want there to be a lot of stress in your arm. You want it to be more just relaxed when you're playing, when you're strumming. It's just easier to make it smooth and just have a better flow to it. Alright, so I hope you found that useful and informative. If you like the video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below if there's something you'd like to see either myself or one of the other instructors at GuitarControl.com do in a future lesson. Anyway, that is all I got for you today. Thanks for watching and have a great day.